It's been a long time since I did a tennis video. I took a bit of a break from watching tennis after Wimbledon last year because I may have explained this in a previous video, but I was extremely annoyed at the fourth round match between Yannick Sinner and Grigor Dimitrov, where, as many people know now, Dimitrov was up 2 sets to love before having to retire from the match. So after that extremely unsatisfying thing happened, I said, if Sinner wins the tournament, I will now have to stop watching tennis. And I said I will continue watching tennis the next time Sinner is not in a Grand Slam final. I don't know if I said this on a video, but I said that to myself. And I thought I was going to have to wait longer because I fully expected Sinner to be in the Australian Open final, as did 95% of tennis fans, tennis watchers. But as we know now, shockingly, Sinner lost in the semifinals to Novak Djokovic, the greatest tennis player of all time. And of course, everybody, including myself, expected Sinner to win because he had defeated Djokovic 5 times in a row. He didn't lose a set against him since, I believe, 2024 Australian Open, the semifinals there, where Djokovic somehow snuck out a tiebreak set, and it was a miracle that he won a set in that match because he got completely destroyed otherwise. That was the last time Djokovic won a set against Sinner until he just defeated him in the Australian Open semifinals. So the vast majority of people, myself included, did not think that Djokovic was going to beat Sinner. But he somehow did, proving once again why he's the GOAT. Not that he needed to prove anything more, but he just adds more, proving that. So since Sinner failed to reach the final, I said, okay, I will probably start watching tennis again, closer to the level that I was watching it before. But I said, let's see how I feel after the final, which was, of course, Djokovic versus Alcaraz. I said, let's see how sad I feel after that, if Djokovic loses, because then I might, again, not feel like watching tennis again. So I woke up at 3:30 a.m. to watch the final between Djokovic and Alcaraz, and of course, as we all know, Djokovic lost in 4 sets. But I was actually not really that I was not really that upset. Of course, I wanted Djokovic to win, but I wasn't really going into the match with high confidence that he would win. Alcaraz was obviously the favorite. I didn't really know what to expect from that match. But I think that Djokovic did a decent fight, so I wasn't really too upset about the outcome of that match. Obviously, again, I wanted Djokovic to win, but I didn't walk away from that match being extremely upset about what happened. I was kind of just like, oh well, gave it a good go. Perhaps actually, if Djokovic had lost in 5 sets, I may have actually been more upset, because then I would think he got so close to winning, to doing this legendary thing, and he came just short. But that didn't happen. He lost in 4 sets. So I was actually not that upset, and I was like, okay, I think I'll keep watching tennis now. So now I am back to watching tennis, and now I will return to making these prediction videos that nobody watches, but I still like to make them just to use up some time in the day and find them somewhat entertaining to make. And the match is a bit more interesting to watch when I make in a so-called official prediction that I publish online and see if I'm correct, and then change my future predictions based on that. So now we're on to a small 250 tournament in Montpellier after the excitement of the huge Australian Open, which was actually a very boring tournament until the semifinals. There weren't really any great, interesting matches, but until the semifinals. But when the semifinals came, we got two fantastic, entertaining matches in different ways. And then the final was also not bad. A bit unsatisfying, but it was okay. You know, they had some good points in there. It was a decent match. But now we're on to the Montpellier semifinals, a much smaller tournament. And the first semifinal we have for tomorrow is going to be Adrian Manarino, who is like 37 years old, playing against a young guy, Martin Damm Jr. His dad was a player around Federer's time, not even like before Federer's time. He was probably close to retiring when Federer was first coming on the scene in like the late 90s. I think Federer played the older Martin Damm in Basel, maybe one or two other times as well. So that guy was a player that was probably active in the 80s and 90s. And I guess this is his son, who is now 22 years old, the same age as Carlos Alcaraz, the number one player in the world at the current moment. But of course, this guy has not achieved anything close to Carlos Alcaraz, who has, besides the Djokovic and the other big three members who are now retired. Nonetheless, he is playing in the semifinal against Adrian Manarino, so this will be a bit like a Djokovic versus Alcaraz matchup in the sense where one guy is way older. Manarino is 15 years older than Damm. This might be the first ATP Tour semifinal of his career, not counting challengers. I don't recall seeing him in a semifinal before. And he has been playing some very good tennis. He has only lost one set in this tournament, and that was actually in qualifying, where he played a triple tiebreak match against Clement Tabor. And he actually barely won that, 10-8 in the final set tiebreak. That was the only set he lost in that match. He lost the second set tiebreak in that match. But besides that, in his other qualifying match and in his 3 matches he has won in the main draw, he has not lost a single set. He's defeated the 7th seed Hubert Hurkacz, defeated another old guy, Roberto Bautista Agut, and he just defeated Luca Nardi in the quarterfinal. So now he will face Adrian Manarino, who has had a much tougher path, or I guess he has, I shouldn't say tougher path, but he has been spending more time on court in his last couple matches. He just defeated 2 Frenchmen in a row, who are both younger than he is, obviously. The first one was Arthur Gea, this guy that I have never heard of until this year. He is 21 years old. And he is apparently his record for the year is about 11 wins and 2 losses, or 12 wins and 2 losses, or something like that. And finally, he's a young guy. His only 2 losses have been to older players. He just lost to Manarino, who is 37 years old, and he lost in the second round of the Australian Open in a 5th set super tiebreak to Stan Wawrinka, who is like 40 years old, and I think he is retiring this year. So this young guy, he has only lost to old players born in the 1980s this year. And that was who Manarino defeated in the quarterfinals. Before that, he defeated Hugo Humbert, the more well-known French player, in what was some people were saying it was kind of a suspicious match, because that was a final set tiebreak. Humbert went up 4-3, and then he checked his phone, and then he lost the next 4 points of the match to lose the tiebreak 7-4, and then lose the match. So some people were saying that might have been some match-fixing stuff. I don't know, but nonetheless, Manarino is now in the semifinals against Damm. They have never faced each other before. We have barely heard anything about Damm, so it makes sense that they have not ever faced each other before. I believe that Martin Damm will win this match in straight sets. He has been probably playing the best tennis of his career. In his last match against Luca Nardi, he served 16 aces. He won 92% of first serve points. That is unbelievable. Hit 33 winners and 28 unforced errors, so he did 5 more winners than unforced errors. Mannarino, he has grinded out his last 2 wins in 3 sets. He is known for being a sort of grinder. His style is very weird. He kind of just wrists the ball like this somehow, but then he just gets it in over and over. And he just counter punches and uses his opponent's power. And if people are just ball bashers who are not that creative, he can defeat them, because he just stays in the middle of the baseline the entire time. Just goes way, 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 over and over with his super light string tension. And he just gets the ball back, and it somehow just like skids through the court or something, it seems like. And then he just wins somehow. He's also, like, he has, like, sneaky defense. Even though he's an old guy, he'll just run to the side and just keep getting the stuff back and keeps just slapping it, and it stays low. He seems extremely annoying to play against. But I respect that, though. But I think he will lose this match against Dom in straight sets. Dom is just serving better than Mannarino. Mannarino did 70% first serves in. That's pretty good. That is higher than Dom, but Dom did 16 aces, and he won 92% of his first serve points. Mannarino won 75%, which is still not bad, but 92% from Dom is kind of crazy. And Mannarino also did 20 winners and 31 unforced errors, so he did 11 more unforced errors than winners. He's not known for doing a lot of winners, Mannarino, as I kind of just explained. So I think, once again, Dom will win this match in straight sets and advance to his first ATP Tour final. Then the second semifinal we have between the top seed, Felix Auger-Aliassime, who's also the defending champion, and he is the last seeded player left in the draw, against this French guy, whom is not very popular. I think I've heard his name before at some point, but he has not really done much notable stuff. His name is Titouan Joguet. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. But he is also in the semifinals. This might also be his first semifinals. I don't know if this guy has ever been in an ATP semifinal before. He and Auger-Aliassime have never faced each other before, again, just like Dom and Mannarino. Joguet, like Dom, I think he's actually also playing the tennis of his life. It was actually kind of similar to Dom. I watched Joguet play Greek Sport. That was the last match he won in the quarterfinals to advance here to the semifinals. And Joguet won in 2 tiebreak sets. He was serving unbelievably well. He hit 21 aces, 65% first serves in, 85% first serve points won. 37 winners, 20 unforced errors, 17 more winners than unforced errors. So he did an unbelievable match. Apparently they were calling him the tiebreak king. The commentator was saying he had won his last 8 tiebreaks or something like that. In this tournament, he has played 5 tiebreaks, won all of them. And then he played a challenger right before this tournament, 2 tiebreaks in that, won both of them. I think that's it. Oh, he played a challenger before the Australian Open, another tiebreak, won that. So he has played 8 tiebreaks this year and won all of them. So the commentator rightly said he's a tiebreak machine. Do I think that he will defeat Auger-Aliassime, who actually had inferior stats, though they're still not all of them. Actually, no, he did actually have some of his stats were better actually. 12 aces, that is still very good. It's not 21 aces, but that is unbelievable. But 12 aces from Auger-Aliassime. He defeated Artefis in straight sets in the quarterfinals. 12 aces, that is still very good. 68% first serves in and 93% first serve points won. That is also fantastic. Fils, he really got destroyed, man. It looked like he couldn't do much out there. he's just coming back after a long. I think he's been out of the tour since like I don't remember seeing him since like the French Open or something. For a long time, but he just came back. He won 2 matches here, but then Auger-Aliassime kind of sent him home pretty quickly. 15 winners and 17 unforced errors, so we did 2 more unforced errors than winners. So in a couple of stats, he was better than Droget, but Droget was also, I would say Droget was a bit more impressive, actually. But do I think Droget will win this match? I think that this will be a difficult match for the players. But I still think Auger-Aliassime will win, but I think he will do it in 3 sets. I think Droget will give him a tough time with the way he's playing. I would expect at least 1 tiebreak in this match, and we have seen how well Droget has been playing in tiebreaks. So he can easily win a set in a tiebreak and even win the match. I would not be surprised at all if Droget wins the match, but I think that Auger-Aliassime as the top seed and defending champion, I think that would just give him a little bit of edge, even though Droget does have the French crowd support. I think this will be a close match, but I think Auger-Aliassime will win this in 3 sets and advance to the final again. As I said, he's the defending champion. And I think we will have a final between the top seed Felix Auger-Aliassime and the young American Martin Daum Jr.